Hi everyone, welcome to my next video. I'm at a really cool park, and I especially like it because I can let Maggie loose here. There's really, it's more open and she won't run away. So it might be kind of fun to watch her run around, but it's kind of hot so she might not. But I wanted to talk about something in the news lately. Actually, there's another video after this one I'm going to do. And this one, gosh, it's a little bit sad, but you know what? Life is sad. And even though my channel, I try to keep it very upbeat, I think there's some important topics to also that I could address on my channel that are kind of sad. And this one has to do with how the elderly people are losing their homes, especially some of them in retirement homes. And I don't recall the state, but they're being kicked out. And I'm not quite sure why. I don't know whether they're redoing the buildings for apartments or condos, but these people are given 30 days to get the heck out. Now, how scary is that? So I'm going to turn this around. Come on, Max. And there's nobody here. And I'll tell you, one reason why I watch the news, even though it's sad, I want to keep up on what's going on in the world. And sure, sometimes if it gets too much or too sad, I don't watch those videos. I don't watch the news. And some of it is too drama filled for me, making bad things sound worse. So I don't watch those either. But in this case, and especially if you're a senior like me, it really makes me think twice about my living situations for the future. Because I have decided there's no way I'm ever going to sell my off-grid cabin, no matter what. First of all, if I'm ever, say, 85 and incapacitated, even if I have to go live somewhere else, I'm going to keep it. Because the last thing I ever want, Maggie, come on, is to be thrown out of senior housing with nowhere to go. And what are these poor people going to do? Some of them are emotionally challenged, and the families can't care for them, even if they wanted to. And some of these elderly people have made it their home over the years. Their friends are there. The activities that they enjoy, they've been doing it for a while, and they feel safe there. So to just suddenly do that, it makes me wonder why senior people are being thrown away so darn easily. And it also makes me wonder, has this always been happening and we're just noticing it more because of the internet? Come on, Max. She's trailing behind. Come on, Max, let's go. Come on. Come on, you can do it. She doesn't like to walk on the rocks, but pretty soon we're going to get on the grass here. So, and yes, they have these little screened-in porches here and there throughout these parks, and you may have seen some of them. They're really cool, and they leave the table and chairs in there year-round. So, I feel so bad for these people. And even hospitals do it. I've seen them put elderly people out on the street if they can't pay their bill or they have no one to pick them up. My God, what is happening to humanity? And I went to sleep last night secure in my little cabin. Sure, I still have some payments left to make on it, and I do have property taxes, but it's such a nominal amount. And I also have a very fortunate scenario with my property taxes because in this particular town in Maine, someone created a trust fund years and years ago so that anyone over the age of 65 who has lived in their property for a minimum of 10 years, aren't these beautiful? For a minimum of 10 years, they will freeze their property tax amount, and it will never, ever increase. Isn't that incredible? Now, I've been here 5 years, and I'll be 70 years old at the end of the year, and my property taxes are only $1,200 a year anyway, and that is one reason I moved here, to lower my expenses and to live below my means. Now, my cabin will be paid off in 5 years or less, so when I'm 75, I won't have any worries, hopefully, other than my health. Aren't these beautiful? The air is really dry here. Come on, Max, you can do it. Come on. Sometimes she gets too hot and we don't go much further. But this is really grassy up here. And there's a little beach where Sheppy likes to go swimming. So we're heading up this way. And they absolutely love this park. If I say the name of the park, Sheppy goes crazy. So, why are we throwing away... Maggie, no! No. Why are we throwing away seniors like this? She was thinking about running away. Come on, Max. Come on, Max. Why are we doing that? Is it because we've always been viewed as unworthy and unimportant and just draining the resources rather than contributing to them? I honestly think that's what it is. Come on, Mama. I honestly believe that. And it makes me even more determined to always keep my little place. And if I ever was to sell it, it would only be in the event of a windfall, which is highly unlikely, or my YouTube channel becoming even more profitable, which at that point in time I mentioned I would buy land as a animal refuge and live on it. And that's still my goal. That's actually a lifelong dream. And I've been saving my money for that reason. I have a separate savings account for it. And I don't spend anything I make on YouTube. I keep it all for that. So, there you go. But, my gosh, isn't that sad about seniors? And they look terrified in these videos. And some of them are physically, physically challenged. They're in wheelchairs. And can you imagine the stress of not only dealing with your health limitations, but suddenly facing homelessness at that age? What has happened to this society? Or have we always been like this? Because my great-grandmother, as I mentioned before, had been placed in a nursing home. And the one and only time I saw her, she did not look physically challenged at all. I think my mother and my grandmother just didn't want her around. Because they actually came right out and said they hated her. And I think a lot of that is still happening today. To just take people that are deemed worthless, in the way, a bother, and even mental health facilities. I think that happens a lot too. And I cringe when I think about 100 years ago, how that probably happened more than we even want to realize. And so, why are people so cruel? That's what I want to know. I'd be curious about your thoughts on that. And I don't think we can stop it. I think it's a human condition to be cruel. That there are cruel people in this world, unfortunately. And there always will be. And the only thing we can do to protect ourselves is to take care of ourselves the best we can. That's all we can do. And some of these elderly people who are on Social Security with barely any income. I understand why their income is so small. Because back in the 60s and the 70s, there were so many moms that didn't work because they didn't have to work. It only took one income to support a family. And my mother was a registered nurse, but she quit working when we were kids. She didn't have to work. And my father was a plumber, and he actually did quite well with his business. Sheppy, you want to go swimming? And we lived very, very well on his income. And he actually ran his business out of our garage and made quite a bit of money doing that. And that was in the 60s and the 70s. Well, those days are gone. But for all the senior ladies struggling today, I believe many of them were those moms who didn't have to work back then. And now they're stuck in this crazy economy. I should be in the water. In this crazy economy. Come on, Meme. Just trying to survive. That's beautiful. Come on, Meme. Come on. There's a road over there. You can probably hear the traffic. There's a campground over there, which is really cool. So, I don't think there is an answer for seniors. I think it's all for yourself, and yourself for one, or however that saying goes. I can't remember. And if you can't take care of yourself, you're out of luck. That is so sad. I was so upset when I went to sleep last night. But it made me realize how much I need to really be grateful for what I have and keep what I have. Because if I ever sold my cabin to buy another off-grid property, I wouldn't be able to afford it. I would never be able to find what I have now and duplicate it for what I'm paying now. Never. And even if things here and there need to be repaired, so what? As long as I have the important things, the roof doesn't leak, the wood stove works, I can drive down my driveway. That's all I need. I don't care about if anything else happens or goes wrong. And I think the important thing is to live within your means, as I mentioned before. Now, some of these YouTubers, or not YouTubers, well, yeah, some of them, they talk about barely able to meet their expenses, and they're young. Now, I don't ever feel worthy enough to give financial advice. Maggie, no. I just reflect on what I would do in that situation. Maggie, no, I'm not throwing anything. And what I would do, stop it, is get out of that expensive apartment. And I would live in my car. Maggie, I would live in my car. And I would save as much money as I could and not rent an expensive apartment. Give up all those amenities, give up all those fancy material things you have, and save your money, because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. And speaking about living in cars, San Francisco is apparently banning RVs, so these people don't know where to go. And my answer to that is chuck the RV and get a small car and live in that. No one will know you're in that car, and you can park anywhere. There's always a way to survive if you can be creative and if you're willing to compromise or give up certain things. And it's getting really tough out there. Maggie, and I'm going to end this in a minute because she's going to bark. But back to the seniors. I'm going to follow that particular story to see where they go and to see what they're going to do with that building, because I suspect they just want it to rehab the building and make more money with it in whatever way. Stop. That's enough. Stop. So I'm interested in hearing your thoughts. And if you have senior family members, or what your thoughts are as a senior, what your future plans are. You don't even want to go swimming. That's enough, Maggie. No. And I apologize for the barking. This is what she does when she's loose. And gosh, I feel so darn bad for them. So I'm interested in what you think. And if you think there's a solution, what can we do for these people? Is this the way humanity is going to treat people they deem unimportant and no longer valuable? And are family members going to view their elderly relatives as a burden? I don't know if other countries treat them the way we do. And I'm curious to hear from you in other countries how that happens. So I'm going to end this here because she is going to continue to bark and enjoy this beautiful day at the park. Maggie, stop. And I'm really interested in your comments and your thoughts on this topic because it's just so important and it's not going to get any better. Thanks so much, everyone. I hope you're all having a really great day, and I know Maggie is. Take care.